Hello and a warm welcome to GT Asia, which this week comes from Okayama, Japan for round 3. Action already got underway in Korea for rounds 1 and 2, and there was plenty of it. A bumper field of some of the world's finest drivers and the greatest marks in the name of sports car racing. Action all around, a win for Aston Martin. But it's the Ferrari 458 of the VVT racing team who leads the series going into Japan.
So we were really happy when we walked away with the win. The Aston was really strong.
Podium's always good.
It was good results and good points for us overall in the championship.
I think we're getting there.
2 days of practice before qualifying, but on Friday after a dry day Thursday, it was a washout. Having said that, in Japan, it can often stay that way. So all the drivers and teams knew they had to get out in these treacherous conditions to try and see how their wet weather setup would work. A lot of horsepower to the ground and not a lot of grip. That said, these are the best drivers in the world, and they can handle it.
The car upgraded.
And we still need a problem on the setting because the other cars still understeer a lot.
So I'm quite confident. It's very tight circuit and low speed to mid-speed corner.
And tires are not ready and brake too late, so you got to find the limit. So.
It mightn't be our best circuit here at Okayama, but certainly we're going to be in the mix at the top.
The car is stronger than previous round in Korea. So I will be fighting for the winning.
And what more could we ask for? Keta, certainly one of the favourites this weekend. Keta from Japan and has raced at this Okayama circuit for almost 20 years. On then to qualifying, and the conditions did dry up for the qualifying session, and that was thumbs up from everyone. Compared to the Korean circuit in rounds 1 and 2, Okayama not quite as fast, but very technical. Certainly, the boys very busy on their qualifying laps. As expected, it turned out to be a battle between the Bentleys, including this one from Keta, Continental GT3s, very swift around the Okayama circuit, and the Aston Martins and Ferraris. Davide Rizzo leading the championship and ever quick wherever he goes. New factory boy Andy Soucek coming into the series with 4 days' notice, but he's a Bentley factory driver, and it took him no time to get up to speed. His first outing ever in Asia. Also, how about this for world class? Gianmarie Bruni, 5-time WEC champion, and Richard Lyons, of course, who's raced in Asia and Japan, particularly in Super GTs for many a year. Duncan Tappy also showing well in Korea. The Englishman would be a factor again. And Caldarelli also fast, as you'd expect. But at the checkered flag, it was the Spaniard, Andy Soucek, who took the pole position for the Bentley team for Absolute Racing. Big year for Bentley in Asia, and they brought their very best.
It's the first time on this racetrack. I'm quite enjoying the experience of racing here in Asia, and I couldn't start it any better with Paul, with Bentley, and with Absolute, who has given me a very good car, so I'm really thankful to all of them.
So the Bentley Continental on pole position with Andy Soucek, Richard Lyons just losing out in the Aston Martin V12, and then it was Duncan Tappy and Keta in 4th position. GTM was led by Kiniro Yashiro, racing at home in the Porsche 991 GT3 Cup car. So then, on the warm-up lap, a drama already for Max Visa. They had an electrical problem out on track, and he was actually saved by another incident. Here he is talking to the officials and trying to get back to the pits when his electrics just died on him and he had to reset the car, but he was able to get back in time, and that was due to another incident far more explosive, because just moments before that, you'll see the scorched earth. There it is. Gianmarie Bruni's hopes going up in smoke, quite literally. A massive fire to the 458 Ferrari. Mock and Bruni definitely out of this one. Still haven't found the cause of it, but they will not be taking part in round 3. A massive fire, but the marshals were quick to it. But Bruni couldn't believe his luck. Mock also had no luck in rounds 1 and 2. He was crashed out of that as well. So not an easy start for the champion. But here we go then, round 3 from Okayama. Andy Soucek will lead them across the line. There's Max Visa in the pit lane there, and he'll have to wait till they all go by. Hopefully they've got that system up and running in the McLaren. Here we go then. Suchek will try to get away from Lyons early on. Racy start from Duncan Tappy, who tries up the inside of the Aston Martin, and does he make it? The British through, and it's a Bentley 1-2 to start this race, and Richard Lyons, the Irishman, has to settle for third early on. Luzzi up there in the McLaren 650S GT3. Work to do for Davide Rizzo with the lights blazing on the red and yellow 458 Ferrari as we go on board with the Italian into the right-hander. You can see how narrow this circuit is. What a wiggle there by the Bentley as he puts down the power, and everybody's still looking for tyre temperature here. Michelin saying it's about 30 degrees track temperature, but as you can see, they were weaving then. Everybody jostling for position down the back straight. It's Suchek, Tappy, Lyons, Luzzi in fourth position, then Van Dam, Carlo Van Dam with all that experience here in Japan. Then Davide Rizzo, the championship leader, Kanazawa in seventh, Sasaki in eighth, and then Caldarelli in ninth position. Adelaide Fong limbering up for his stint. Remember, 2 stints, and a gentleman driver and a professional driver, and a mandatory 75-second pit stop, at least. Sometimes with success ballast, it's worse. And Max Wieser's back in again. Well, he was at the pit lane entrance, and now he's out for good, it looks like. What a shame. So once again, just to confirm, Lyons in third place, and the top 3 pulling away from Luzzi in fourth position, but he's under big pressure from Van Dam at the moment. Rizzo in sixth place was already looking to side his way through as we see that battle for fourth, fifth, and sixth place. But it's the Bentleys, 1 and 2. What could Richard Lyons do about this? He's already won in Super GTs here. Richard Lyons, for those who don't know, has raced most of his career in Japan, to be honest, in all forms of racing. Very accomplished driver, and very popular here in Japan as well. But just as popular, the Japanese Kanazawa racing at home. Knows this track like the back of his hand. He also knows he's got Caldarelli all over the back of him in the McLaren. And Andrea Caldarelli, there's his teammate, Song Yang. And both of them not having the most auspicious start to the year in Korea. Scored some points, but it wouldn't be what they wanted. And as you can see, Caldarelli trying desperately to get past that Bentley early on and get on level terms. You can see squirreling there, getting sideways for a moment. He wants to get on level terms. Adelaide Fong watches on. He'll have his chance in the Bentley soon. Sauer, Caldarelli, and Sasaki just behind there in the Lamborghini, the all-blue Delango Lamborghini. Griffin in 10th position, then Fauzi and Dirty Al. Matt Griffin, of course, fresh from his excursion at Le Mans. And he and Richard Wee fighting hard in the Ferrari 458 GT3, still in the top 10. And as they come down the main straight, we're starting to get ready now for our pit stops. Davide Rizzo will try to get in front of the 2 cars, I'm sure, in front of him, to hand the car to Anthony Liu. But the parity between those 2 has been the story of both last year and this year. And Caldarelli tries another move on Sauer. Sauer closes the door. And it's starting to get a little bit packed in there. The 86 is Fauzi, him and Lowe in the Lamborghini Gallardo. Here's another look at Caldarelli. Well, he just can't get in, and the big maraudering Bentley does enough to close the door. Through goes Fauzi. He's under pressure, though, as well. And it's going to get interesting. Caldarelli, Sauer, and Sasaki. Caldarelli has got past Sauer. Now look at Sauer. He's really under pressure from Fauzi, Griffin, Dirty Al. And they all want by. And this is not the familiar Sauer I'm used to seeing. He's got the car, he's got the equipment. There may be something wrong with that car because we're used to seeing Sauer a little bit quicker than this. But Jackie Young is ready for his Bentley stint, for sure. And the leader, Suchek and Tappy, coming up on the back markers. Lyons still in third place, but catching, especially now, using the back markers, I'm sure, to bunch them all together. This is a critical time in the race now, because these back markers are in their own race. Sauer, Sasaki, and Fauzi, the Malaysian. The 2 Lamborghinis trying desperately to get past the Bentley. Fauzi comes alongside, can't quite do it. And Sasaki, he too, with bags of experience. Delantha Malagamua, of course, one of the former champions of GT Asia. And Sasaki trying to get past. They might want to wait until they have the pit stop, because Sauer is about as wide as he can possibly get at the moment. Into the pit comes Richard Lyons, Craft Bamboo Racing, Aston Martin, but the pit window is not open yet. So the Inter-Rush team in too much of a rush, so there must be some sort of problem because they're going to get penalised. They're going to have to go back out and come back in again. And Sasaki still trying to get past, but now his teammate, Aoki, in the GTM class for the Delango team in the all light blue car, is just ahead of Sauer there as well. And he, of course, fighting for GTM honours. So there's a real traffic jam here in Japan just before the pit will be open for their 75-second compulsory stops. Another pit stop there. So we are starting to see that window open soon. Blue flags waving. Everybody wants past Katasawa, who will be handing the car over to Adelaide Fong very soon indeed. Out comes Frank Yu, just ahead of this battle for the top 10. And great to see the number 34 Delango of Takuma Aoki, his friend Galantha Malagamua. They used to race when Malagamua was a 125 rider, and of course Takuma Aoki went all the way to 500 cc's before being paralysed in that crash, but then turned to car racing, and he's raced a fair few races here in both cars and in bikes, and it's great to see Aoki winning. He won last year in GTMs. Trying to do the same again today. Faris Fauzi in the number 86. The Lamborghini Gallardo goes through on Sauer just before the pit stop break. So the Malaysian through on the Japanese. Jonathan Venter at the wheel. The Australian about to head out in the VLT Aston Martin. Nice clean stop, but they've still got some work to do. Katasawa finally coming in and relieving this traffic jam. Remains to be seen how Sauer will get on and how Adelaide Fong, the development driver for the Lotus Formula One team. Also Tetsuya Makino in the Gulf Race in Japan Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car in those resplendent Gulf colours is in as well. Out goes Jonathan Venter of Australia. He's going to be behind Faris Fauzi as he rejoins. Now what's going on with Bentley? We'll see now a progression of stops. The leader's still out at the moment. Andy Soucek and Duncan Tappy still going wheel to wheel. And we expect them to be in very soon indeed. And once it all shuffles out, here we go. Yes, sure enough, Andy Soucek coming in and Duncan Tappy right behind him. The Spaniard and the Brit, both in Bentley Continental GT3s. Now this is going to be an interesting pit stop. Waved in, but it's crucial to get this right. We've had so many penalties in GT Asia in the past for not getting the timing right. Jackie Young bounces into action and gets ready to get in. In comes Davide Rizzo. He'll hand the car over to Anthony Liu. And it's been a potent combination, the championship leaders, right since they started in this series. Jeffrey Lee in the number 7 Bentley is in. Down the main straight comes Adelaide Fong. And the young Hong Kong driver really got to make these laps count now. Big year for Adelaide Fong. Started off in single-seaters. It's, of course, now a Lotus development driver for Formula One. And certainly making a name for himself following in the footsteps of Darryl O'Young. He's been right to the very top of both Le Mans, World Touring cars, and now GTs. So everything's starting to shuffle out. Jeffrey Lee, a winner last year, and he's improved dramatically over the last year. Here comes Anthony Liu, and talk of improving. Anthony Liu's been sensational. Might be called a gentleman driver, but he hardly looks like one. Duncan Tappy. Remember Duncan Tappy driving for Tottenham Hotspur back in the Super League days. He's got an accomplished single-seater career, as has this man. Over 80 starts in Formula One. Lutzi and Matthew Griffin, fresh from his excursion in Le Mans, as we mentioned. So everybody in now. Carlo Van Dam, the Dutchman for Singer Motorsports at the Ferrari 458 in the foreground. He's out the car. Jeffrey Lee having taken over from Andy Soucek, pretty much out on his own at the front at the moment. Todd Pitty is in the car, the Thai driver. Carlo Van Dam is out. Drive-through penalty for the leader. The pit lane speeding, and that is the biggest story of the day. Hamaguchi heads out now in the McLaren 650S GT3, but the story has to be about Jeffrey Lee, and whether it was Jeffrey Lee coming out or Andy Soucek coming in, I'm not sure, but either way, Lee is going to lose that lead to this man Hamaguchi. Pitti will go into third place, and now you're looking at the leaders of this race. What a dramatic turnaround in a matter of seconds here in Japan. Those are the rules, and now we've got a real battle on our hands. Whether they'll be aware of it, I'm not sure, but they've got to get up to temperature. As you can see them wiggling around, and already Todd Pitti of Thailand goes past Hamaguchi as the pair of them fight. It's Ferrari versus McLaren. We saw it plenty of times last year in GT Asia. We're going to see it again here in Okayama. Pitti second place, Hamaguchi third. But really, with this drive-through penalty, you could say this is the battle for the lead. Liuzzi looks on after his stint. Still looks pretty fresh. Hamaguchi getting up to speed now, and this battle for second and third, which will be the battle for the lead, starting to intensify. So we could have a grandstand finish to this round 3 race from Okayama. Luckily no rain. Massive downpour on Friday. That cut practice a little bit. There was some possibility that we'd see more of it. So the drive-through penalty for Jeffrey Lee. He must be aware of it now, and there's the gap he's got on him. It's going to be touch and go, but here comes Hamaguchi for the lead. The Japanese will be a popular winner if he can do it. Into turn 1, nicely done. Hamaguchi, of course, ran a McLaren last year, won round 3 comfortably. And depending on what happens with this drive-through, this team, with Liuzzi just at the back there, could be winners again, and that would really throw the cat amongst the pigeons early on in this season. It's only round 3, remember. There's the gap between Lee and Hamaguchi. Pitti still in third place, the tie. Here's another look at the overtake from Hamaguchi, and it was nicely done, fair and square, into turn 1, textbook stuff. Paddy Roberts watching on the sidelines, and here comes the drive-through, and this is critical. This is a bitter pill to swallow. There go the leaders. Hamaguchi will take the lead. Pitti goes into second place, and that is going to take what seems like eon to get down that pit lane, but there he is, and he's going to lose more places as well, because here comes Jung and Liu, and they are both past the Bentley, and it looks as though Lee's going to slot into 5th place. So Jeffrey Lee goes into 5th place, Liu in 4th place now. And what a shame. The face of this race changed right at the start when Mott blew up, and Bruni had no part to play. Last year's champions, and then the leaders get a drive-through penalty. Incidentally, and the GTM leader is Jerry Wang. Aoki also getting a drive-through penalty. Nervous moments then for Hamaguchi as we come down to the closing stages of round 3. Hamaguchi with a clear lead now, and the lights blazing for Anthony Liu, the Chinese driver, in the 458 yellow and red Ferrari. But he's got a good clean lap ahead of the 2 Bentleys, and I think it'll stay that way. Clock ticking down on round 3. And what a shame for Jeffrey Lee. Disappointment for the Bentley team then, but they are making a very serious quest. Low in 9th place, Yu in 10th in the number 88 Aston Martin. Frank Yu, of course, who had a sensational 2014. We'll want to try to do the same again with Aston Martin. That's been the best showing, and I think Bentley, with the numbers and the caliber of drivers they've got, really stepped it up again. Jung still in 4th place. Lee all over the back of him, and Ventus joined the battle as well. Winner, of course, in Korea. So a 3-way battle in the closing stages for big points. Well, as expected, it turned out to be a Bentley, Aston Martin and Ferrari battle, but those Bentleys are just so wide for the Aston Martin, trying to thread his way through. The Aussie picks off one of them. He's got the lights blazing. But despite, spin from Frank Yu, and damage to the front of the 88 Craft Bamboo Racing Aston Martin. Disappointment for Richard Lyons, who put in a lot of hard work in his stint. Frank Yu, though, a rare mistake. Venter looks up the inside on the number 7 Lee. Can't get through on this occasion. But it's far from over yet, this battle. The VLT yellow and green Aston Martin V12 up against the mighty 4-litre twin-turbo Bentley. Nothing between them at this stage. And Jeffrey Lee will be just to finish on a high after that drive-through. Real disappointment after it has been an excellent weekend so far. That's racing, as they say, and a long way to go in this championship yet. Just getting through the GTM cars and trying to side their way through traffic. And Venter trying to pick a moment where he can get through cleanly, as neither of them want to cause a problem. Oh, so talking of a problem, I just saw some dust flying up there, and I think that could well have been Jerry Wang spinning, and he was leading in the Audi in GTM, and it is! It's the 23 car of Jerry Wang. And, well, he's parked it, and he had been leading GTM. So that gives Aoki another chance, despite the drive-through. Here comes Venter. Can he make it stick? Yes. Nicely done up the inside, the Aston Martin, and a clean manoeuvre by the experienced youngster from Australia. And it's great to see so many of these talented drivers, including this man, Liuzzi, clearly enjoying himself, the former Formula One star. Todd Petty just going up the inside of the backmarker Fu Song Yang in the McLaren. Thought it was the lead for a minute, it's not. And Anthony Liu will go through as well. Oh, no, he won't. And the number 5 blocks him. Probably accidentally, though. But Anthony Liu will not be too happy about that, because he was still trying to close down in dying moments. But either way, no such problems for Hiroshi Hamaguchi. Liuzzi comes onto the pit lane wall to greet Hiroshi, who will take a famous win at home. And on a day that saw fireballs, smoke and drive-throughs, in Hamaguchi, who comes through to take victory for the FFF Racing team by ACM. The McLaren takes it. Liuzzi gets his first major win in the GT Asia Championship. Pitti just about holds off Anthony Liu. That's second and third. Good result for them. And Jeffrey Lee, I have to wonder what might have been after that drive-through penalty. Thumbs up then from the Italian. Checkered flag also waves, so it's a double Japanese win. And confirmation then, Liuzzi and Hamaguchi, Carlo Van Dam and Todd Pitti in second place. Risso and Liu will continue to lead the championship with that podium ahead of Ouyang and Venter in 4th position. Soucek and Lee, the early leaders, will end up in 5th place.
Man, great. Oh, it feels so good, man. Oh yeah, finally I got on podium and especially on top of the podium. It feels great. I mean, we've had a tough career race weekend, as well as yesterday actually. For the practice session, we had to replace the gearbox. So thanks for all the mechanics and the team managers and directors. Couldn't be here without them.
We had a good consistency, the car behaved really well, and until the pit stop everything worked fine.
We have some trouble, but anyway, so Ken is very good, very good running. So we got a win. Well, thank you very much.
Nice words from Takuma Aoki and his teammate Ken Urata. Very emotional yet again. Congratulations to McLaren. They take victory over the all-comers from Aston Martin, Ferrari, and of course Bentley, who led early on in this race. Confirmation then of the points, and it's starting to tighten up. Liu and Rizzo extend their lead to 48 points. Venter and Ouyang have 28, just 1 point ahead now of Adelaide Fong and Kitasawa. They're 1 point ahead of Liuzzi and Hamaguchi, and then Todd Pitti just behind with 26. Great day's racing started in flames. We had a few more dramas to come. But Mott will be back, and so too, I'm sure, Well, Jimmy Bruni, but a host of stars here in GT Asia and Okayama, Japan, and we'll be racing here again for round 4. That's it though for round 3. Congratulations once again to McLaren, who win the home man Hiroshi Hamaguchi. Until next time, from me, Jonathan Green, goodbye for now.